Here we have some womanly skills.
So what are you making? Like, what is it? A pillowcase? Or?
So it'll be a pocket for the two of the younger girls that live in this home. They get very fussy and always confuse their things, so this will distinguish them.
This is bobbin lace.
You are looking for work then yourself? No?
I'm a modern girl like I do myself.
Oh.
Here's the part she's already made. Just amazing.
Hello. It's a linen thread that we use to make it. And if you look at the pattern, there are only 2 stitches, so really it isn't quite as complicated as it first appears. Oh no, I never make mistakes.
They ever make lace curtains?
Well, here's where the guards slept.
It's longer.
that's
longer
cozy.
than 2 people to fire it, or you have a stand fire.
How old would this one be?
The model we've reproduced are based on the 1734 model,
This
which
is
is mortar
mortar.
shells filled with black powder.
Okay.
And you bring that
And what
close
is
to
the
the
purpose for shooting up like that?
It'd be to fire over the walls into the enemy's camp.
Oh, that you put on the gun, and the other one is your sword.
Pour the powder in, crumple the paper around.
There's the épée, there it is.
Down with
So the
your baguette.
gentleman would carry, there goes my scabbard as well, what's called a rapier is what the gentleman would have, it's longer and more narrow.
That's
Yes.
the whole packet.
Artillerymen and cavalry would carry a saber, so it's curved. But these épées are kind of like her police badge. It gives us authority to arrest people if we have to, just because we're carrying it. But we don't really use them unless we really don't have any other options. Sailors on
Yeah,
ships.
yes.
You have a finer grained powder, and that's what we use to prime the pan.
Okay,
So you
yeah.
have the finer grained powder in here, and then in my cartridge box, I carry the cartridges themselves. You see the little holes where they go in.
Yes,
The
yes.
paper tubes, exactly. So the soldiers have to have enough teeth to be able to open the cartridge.
I have no teeth. I know that's
So 2 teeth in line, and
a
that's
lot
all
of
you
people
need.
should not have.
Stew in front of the king's bastion. It's a little higher up here. You could see the bad guys coming. Or let's just say the enemy. This is quite a nice chapel in here. Confessional over here. Pulpit up here. So this is the armory.
Try our best, but at the end of the day, it doesn't look like much, but we have a roof over our head, somewhere to sleep, and we at least get some food a day, so it's better than what we left back in France, for sure. Most of us were either living on the streets or in the prison system, so it's pretty good to be over here.
Despite everything.
Yeah, despite it all.
Here's what this looked like in 1960. There was part of this King's Bastion, but everything else was rubble. Museum that they did build in the 30s. Here's some of the archaeologists at work in the 60s and 70s. I like doing jigsaw puzzles, but this is over the top. Trying to put broken bottles back together. The patience it must take. Here's some pieces left to be put back together sometime. When you can see where the pieces were put together. She did quite a job on that. The reconstruction of 18th century buildings called for hundreds of detailed architectural drawings. These were done by a drafting staff under the supervision of the restoration architect. We are rebuilding some of these buildings using building techniques from the 1600s. Massive fortifications and residences were done by masons using time-honored techniques, taking particular pride in the more difficult work, cutting sandstone or limestone for decorative or structural purposes. When they use the actual stones. Stones were also made using skills that they had available in the 1700s. This gown is based on paintings by Antoine Watteau and 18th century illustrations out of costume books. Interesting shoes, too. They are putting the shingles on the roof.
It's going to go to about a mile and a half within accuracy. And what I mean by within accuracy, the cannoneer was expected to hit his shot, and at least the second, definitely the third shot.
Water tower is about a mile and a half away, and this cannon could hit it.
From here across the other side.
Okay, here's the King's Bastion, and it might be gonna rain here pretty soon. The best view in the rain. There's kind of the town, and here's the bastion up behind the town.
Hi.
So hi, recruited some women, huh?
I'm technically a boy for the 18th century. However, Parks Canada, we do have women interpreters as men, but...
We're now into the officers' quarters and the commanding officer. This is the governor's quarters, and here's his chair. I think it's called a sedan chair. He'd have quite a spacious kitchen here. The cook probably slept in here. The 1744. This is an antechamber. Visiting dignitaries would have been here and had receptions and dinners. This was the private bedroom. The other one was a former room where he would have guests come in and talk to him while he was in bed. Counselors would meet here. Prominent merchants and royal officials. And nobody on the clergy that was on the council. They had to have 5 members for criminal cases. For civil cases, only 3. This is the sacristy. That would be where they stored the best vestments for the priest, and this is where the priest lived. They were Franciscans here. Well, Colonel lived in here. This is single officers. Married officers lived in town with their wives. Junior single officers' quarters. He even has a bathtub. And there's his bed and uniform. Can play some games and do his paperwork. Well, here we are leaving Louisbourg, and there's the old train depot. There's some old train cars. S&L Railway Museum. And another cannon. Making our way back from Fort Louisbourg. Remember crossing this bridge this morning? But it's a much clearer day this afternoon. We've just come down off the top of Kelly's Mountain, and here's our view, and I can see it is raining in the distance, but it's still a pretty view today. Traditionally, lobster suppers were served in big community halls or large restaurants and were often sponsored by churches and nonprofit organizations. Along with the whole lobster, this dinner included unlimited seafood chowder, steamed mussels, salad, homemade biscuits, dessert, and beverage. and they make all their breads and desserts on site.